Do you have toxic fat syndrome? Let's talk about it. Hey health heroes, welcome back to Adamimmune, the channel about helping you improve your autoimmune health naturally. And today, I really just wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind lately, and I really couldn't sleep that well last night thinking about this. I kind of have been thinking about fasting and healing, right? Now I've done a lot of fasting, and during my 7-day fast, I just woke up. So during my 7-day fast, I realized that I wasn't healing like I thought I would, right? I thought, oh, okay, because I went in there with a small reaction, all right? I believe it was because I was over-exercising, and I had a small flare, and I was just starting to heal when I started that fast, right? Now, I expected the theory would go, right, since fasting speeds up healing, and that's what I believed. That I would all of a sudden, a couple days into it, I'd be all cleared up and perfect. But that's actually the opposite of what happened, right? Nothing healed while I was fasting. It was until the very end. Okay, it was. I don't want to say I didn't heal at all. What I want to say is it slowed down my actual healing. Now I have a skin disease, so it's very clear to see. Everything is right out in the open. It wasn't any theoretical. It wasn't like thyroid issues. It wasn't any guesswork at all. All right, because I can see my reactions. That's a blessing and a curse, right? But okay. So I'm thinking, well, why is this happening? I'm supposed to have accelerated healing during fasting. So why could this be happening? And I think that comes down to toxic fat syndrome. This is this idea that the chemicals that we eat are getting stored in our fat cells in our body, right? When we're eating excess calories, whatever we're eating, if we're eating junk food or grains or different things like that, the chemicals that we eat, they're transferred to us and they get stored in our fat, just like they would from an animal, an unhealthy animal. If we eat factory farmed animals that eat grains and we eat lots of the fat from them, we know that their harmful toxic chemicals are stored in their fat, and they do transfer to us because we have reactions from that, so we know that. But what isn't studied so far is that those actual chemicals are actually being transferred and stored in our fat cells as well. So this will lead to toxic fat syndrome, okay? So my theory here is that when we are losing weight at a rapid pace, our body is releasing those fat cells, opening up those chemicals, and those chemicals are trying to, you could call this a detox, right? Try to escape the body. So while we're losing weight, we might actually be having reactions not from the food we're eating, but from the fat loss itself, or more specifically the chemicals in the fat, right? So I had a lot of weird, strange reactions over the course of the last couple of years that I couldn't explain, and I thought, well, I just didn't know what they were, and I always chalked it up to, well, I don't know all my triggers yet, right? But let's be honest, I'm pretty good at knowing it by now. I know, I'm not going to say I figured out them all, but I figured out, I don't know, I feel like I know them all, but I'm sure I will come across new ones in the future. It's just going to happen. This world is massive, right? There's going to be tons of environmental factors as well. But there was ones that I come across specifically when I was losing weight quickly. So if I was fasting or I was going hardcore keto for certain periods. Now this has ended, okay? I do not experience this anymore because I've figured out the best way to combat this is just to slow your weight loss. Slow weight loss. That is the best way to combat this. Now, yes, having those fat stores in your body that are full of toxic chemicals is also harming you in the long run as well. So we do have to lose those, okay? Now, as some of you know, or maybe you don't know, fat stored in the body actually produces its own toxic chemicals and hormones as well. So we do actually need a certain amount of fat to produce hormones naturally, but having those kinds of fat that we get from junk food or things that humans should be eating are causing this toxic fat syndrome, right? So this is what will lead to heart disease and different other certain forms of cancer, right? Because we know that having lots of extra body fat on our body is a health risk in itself. And it was. And for a long time we thought, well, it was just the amount of weight. It was putting stress on our bodies, right? But that's not the case. It's actually producing harmful chemicals that are harming our organs. Now, there's two kinds of fat, right? We have like fat under the layer of the skin, right? And then we have that kind of protects us. But then we have this visceral fat that surrounds our organs, and this visceral fat produces more toxins than the layer of fat under our skin. So that's why you'll see some people that are like skinny fat, right? They're thin people, but you can just tell they're just not healthy. That's people that have fat around their organs, right? And you can kind of tell this if someone is like, they're thin, but they kind of have a larger waist than they should for their size. That's a good telltale sign that they have lots of visceral fat. You can check your BMI, and that's a good way to go. So if you have like higher than a 35 to 40% maybe BMI or something like that, you might look into that. But also you can look at your waist as well. Now, for my size, I'm down to 200 pounds. Oh yeah, I'm down 150 pounds officially. So I've lost 150 pounds. I feel good about that. Yay. Thanks. But I'm 200 pounds now. I was 350 plus, and my waist is a 32. I have like these small legs compared to my upper body, right? So, I'm just I'm just this top heavy guy right now. Anyway, when you're losing weight, you have these weird phases you go through where your body just kind of like evens out, and you lose weight, and then it's all weird, and then it kind of evens out again, and you lose it in your face, then you lose in your... Anyway, it's weird. I'll talk about that more in the future. But anyway, yeah, this just could be a reason why I wanted to talk about this, because this is important for people with autoimmune disease, right? Having these chemicals flood our body when we're losing weight, and not only that, just causing harm while we have that stored on our body, right? This toxic overload of inflammation coming from the fat itself, and also from losing it too quickly. We don't want to overload our liver. All these toxic chemicals have to go through our liver, right? So I think this might be a reason why some people experience actually harmful negative effects while switching diets, even AIP or doing keto. It's very, very rare, but some people will see their liver start to shut down when you're switching to any diet, right? Now, I think this might be because they're losing weight too quickly. All kinds of other problems. They might already have liver damage from the foods they were eating, or if they drink alcohol, because there is a thing as non-alcohol fatty liver, right? We have this liver disease caused by not drinking alcohol. They don't even drink or never drank, and we may not know why, but it could be because of the fat stored on their body is causing these toxic chemicals and producing, like I said, the visceral fat is causing extra toxic damage, so that could be why as well. So just keep in mind that there are other things at play besides the food you're eating, but we want to always be strict and keep it clean and keep it paleo, because even if you're gaining weight on paleo and you're trying to actively gain weight, that is totally good as long as you're eating those foods that aren't gonna be stored in your body. Imagine this: you're storing all the food that you're eating in your body, one way or another, right? Like the old saying says, you are what you eat, right? So if you're eating grains and legumes and drinking alcohol and eating chocolate, with sugary sweets and all that stuff, and you shouldn't be eating, all that is going to be stored in your body somehow, right? And it will be released maybe over years of your life, and maybe more quickly as you're losing weight. So just keep in mind that this could be one possible hidden triggers, okay? So if you're eating clean and you're having just reactions, and you're thinking, why is this happening? Is the AIP diet making me worse? Well, it just might be because you're stored fat, okay? So I did experience this personally. It has it barely plays a role anymore, because I'm getting down to closer to a healthy weight. I'm not saying I'm a healthy weight at 200 pounds, but I'm certainly healthier than I was when I started this journey, right? So if you're like 250, 350, higher weight than, a lot of people, some might say morbidly obese at over maybe 300 pounds, then you probably are going to experience this. This is going to be more suitable for you, but if you know somebody, please share this with them, that maybe they're having reactions and they're just totally confused, okay? I don't want to say that anybody with extra weight is going to be unhealthy, or even people that are thin are going to be healthy, okay? That is not the case. I hope this video kind of makes sense to you, but this is just an idea that I've been kind of playing with lately, and then I kind of researched it, and I'm like, yeah, toxic fat syndrome is a real thing. I guess it's already been studied. So it's just not really the connection between toxic fat syndrome and autoimmune disease. I don't think anyone's ever talked about that. So hopefully this was helpful and new, and if you wouldn't mind sharing it, I would be very grateful. You'll probably help out somebody today, and I think that's a great thing. So thanks for watching. See you next time.